Greetings, all you fine feathered folks and lovely listeners out there on the tubes of you. And welcome back to a rather delayed edition of Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
And Michael is just about to apologize to all of you for the hiatus that we have been on for a moment, but, you know.
I apologize for nothing.
Ooh, boundaries.
Yeah.
He's getting them.
That hiatus that we were taking just for him is, it's very important for everybody. But, we've been dealing with stuff like you do. And in the past few weeks, we've been very lucky to get an episode up. And so for that consistency, at least that was happening. But we are back here for all of you lovely folks with some YouTube exclusive content, because that's very important to us as well. This is where our bread is buttered. Michael spends 800 hours a week making his shorts, so it's important that we follow up on that. But in case you have no idea who we are or what we're talking about, we host an insanely popular podcast, the Disinformed podcast, which you can find on your preferred platforms. We release new episodes every lovely Monday morning where we talk about random esoteric nonsense and we lie about it. It is a lot of fun. But what we are going to do here this evening is we're going to delve back into one of our favorite activities, the good old Chuck Klosterman Superthetical.
Yay.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Which one would you prefer, Chuck Klosterman or Chuck Testa? I just had that thought.
I want
Testa
Klosterman.
Oh, wait, are you saying like Klosterman stuffed by Chuck Testa?
Or vice versa.
Well, he's a taxidermist. Get your mind out of the gutter, yada yada. That has been my thing tonight.
We all have phrases. Weird. It pops up.
That's pretty pedestrian of you, Michael.
I know. I should be more like Florida Man.
Allow me to hit my catchphrase as well. Indeed.
Indeed.
Quite. All right.
Yes, quite. Mm-hmm.
Most shallow and pedantic. I'm about to pee into this wine glass. If you know, you know. So here is our glorious superthetical. So if you're unfamiliar, you have to imagine a person, and then you are given a proposed hypothetical situation starring this individual. So the prompt for this week's, in case you can't see, is this is the smartest person you know personally.
I already feel the redundancy building.
Just looking forward to hearing what you all say about me. But here we go.
This is hard. And I'm not in the picture, just so everyone knows.
I mean, technically you are in the frame, but it's slightly different. I love the struggle.
I'm having a hard time with this one.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I need more context with the
what kind of smart are they?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
thinking. That is for you to determine. Again, Chuck doesn't tell you how to think your thoughts.
Chuck, I need more guidance.
That makes it more hilarious, because there have been people that you look up to and we're like, oh, your mother. Oh, would you like to switch places? Oh, that sort of thing. So you know what? You're right. We shouldn't have more context because that leads to more hilarity on our side.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have a person in mind?
Yes.
You can keep going as we're going, because you're going to have to imagine this individual as we speak. But here we are. This person asks you to chat about something they insist is important. The beginning of the conversation is confusing. Their language is filled with technical jargon and references to books you have not read. However, as they continue, they make more and more sense. The person seems to be making an argument about logic, truth, and how information should be processed. What they're saying is compelling, entertaining, and sensible. But the conversation ends with a curious twist. The reason this person is telling you all of this is that they are now convinced that the Earth is flat, and they can prove it.
Okay.
Michael's been waiting for this episode for 147 episodes now.
You're right. Oh,
so this
one
is
day
the
I'll write part 3.
Part 3, the revenge of the proofs. All right. The person goes on to explain how they've been writing about this theory on the internet and have now been asked to appear on popular TV news program where they will debate traditional scientists about the shape of the Earth. They're excited about this, but also nervous. They ask your advice on whether they should make the appearance. What do you say?
Okay. I like it.
I have a feeling that Michael has got like a supercharge built up for this.
It's interesting.
I'm glad Please go ahead.
There's a reason why I specified that you should choose your person before you read the card, because it makes it so much more hilarious. And that's all I'll start with.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to be the closer, I will happily let you do that.
Okay.
And Courtney, you don't have to go first either. If you would like, I can begin. Whatever you'd want.
For it.
Okay. So I actually did choose. So I have a very good friend of mine. I was the best man at his wedding. We were in high school together. Is easily the smartest person I know. He's a Mensa member.
Oh.
He's also well, technically I'm a Mensa member as well, but that's neither here nor there.
I have no idea how to do that.
Life goals. But he, and I will avoid names here to, incrimination as possible. He's very good at hacking into databases. Let's just say that.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Has built his own computer many times over, is great, and presently has a lot of, he's an SCA member, so has his own full regalia as far as a fleshed out working suit of armor, and is now taking up blowing glass as a hobby.
Whoa!
So
nice.
just a very interesting individual. I love him to death. It has eccentricities, as we all do. Favorite film, I believe, to this day, probably. I'm going to get this wrong. He was an avowed Death to Smoochie fan back when we were hanging out, and I had to say, I love the puppy dog head tilt on both.
We don't know it did it at the exact same time. Like, huh?
It's a Robin Williams, Edward Norton vehicle about a child's television host who goes off the rails, like completely loses their mind.
Oh my god,
that's fascinating.
It's an interesting film. It's very entertaining. Circa like maybe 97, 98. But in any event, I digress. So my friend, very, very intellectual individual, somebody who helped me to get through my in my astronomy class when we were in college, because they said that you only required like intro level math in order to do this. So like algebra, and then immediately started throwing geometry at us. It's like, okay, so we want to try to measure the chart of this, astral body as it flows across. So we've got to figure out a static point to measure it against in order to determine how fast it's moving. I'm like, what?
1.21 gigawatts.
So
is the energy of the system.
My buddy essentially had to tutor our entire class to get us all through, because none of us could figure this out without him. So somebody who I would legitimately believe if he began to recount theories, facts, figures, and otherwise substantive materials and proofs about why the Earth is flat. However, I don't think I would, again, there would have to be indulgences in conspiracy theories to the nth degree in order to try to convey the reality of this to the general public, when again, we have satellite photos that do tend to prove that, this is a spherical object we're on. I don't necessarily think that I would encourage anybody to go and commit career suicide, given that he does work in science as a career. So I'd be like, yeah, probably not the best idea, buddy. But I mean, you make a compelling argument. I'm interested. And also, his stories don't necessarily always have the most linear progression, as we've talked about with Michael and the physicist's brain. My buddy does tend to make. He's the one who recounted to me the Tasty Wheat Sex Krispies story, which, if I have not clarified in recent history, he was watching The Matrix with Korean subtitles that with a Dutch audio track, I think, if I remember correctly, and then translated back into English. So by doing this through now multiple linguistic trends, Tasty Wheat converted to Sex Krispies.
Okay.
From the one translation to the translation back into English. So we then had to theorize what Sex Krispies would be, where it would constitute. I was like, it's got to be some sort of like a Go-Gurt that contains, human fluids in order to make that work, and you just got to mix the packet together like it's one of those yogurt things with the mix-ins. Like, that's the only way Sex Krispies works for me. But in any event, now that I've digressed and given you all a chance to formulate thoughts, I would be, it's probably not the best idea. You should avoid that, because I'm not sure you're going to convey this rationally to the general consuming public out there watching the news. You're going to somehow be like, well, do you know, if we take this trajectory, bend a little bit, come back around, Sex Krispies, and the earth is flat.
I believe it now. I'm converted.
Sold.
Bing, bang, boom, yada, yada, yada. The earth is in fact flat.
Well, when your proof is pictures taken by who? The government? Are we going to believe them?
We already know birds are a lie.
I mean, multiple governments, but,
They're all connected. It goes all the way to the top.
Oh, I see. We're just fighting amongst ourselves.
I mean, the most reptiloid of us all died recently, so that's all I will say.
You're talking about Peter Straub?
Exactly. Yes, that one. Yes. The leader of the reptiloids. Sorry. I mean, if you couldn't tell that from the talisman, then I don't know what to tell you. Should be pretty straightforward. I thought it was obvious. I
was more confused by reading the talisman than I was by Dianetics. So,
damn. I had to. That deserved a curse word. Whew.
All right.
Dianetics.
Self-control. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Dianetics and Cuny much better than Krishna.
Oh. Oof.
All right. So, since we're going to let Michael be our happy ending for this episode, Courtney, how about you?
So it took me a minute to get to who I wanted as my smart person, because I know a lot of people who are very specialized in different things, and like they know things that are like.
Do you mean like retirees?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a name,
If you listened to this week's episode and you have appreciated the saga that is our start to evaluating Florida Man, you're going to appreciate that joke. But if you haven't, go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Please.
But I have a friend, for the sake of anonymity, I will not say his name, but we have been friends since we were like 13. And he's gone on, he's a PhD. He has learned multiple languages to go get citizenship in another country. Like, he's just like one of those big brain people, and he's an activist and all this stuff. So then when you get to the flat earth thing, I think it's really funny because he also has a lot of religious trauma. We grew up in the same culture. So, and then our relationship is also trolling each other. So I absolutely would support him in going on TV and just totally like full on, yep, it's flat earth. This is why. And I would be in the front row cheering him on because I just think it's funny.
Congrats for making a buffoon of yourself.
Like you played yourself.
I think that would be delightful. I'd pay to watch it. All right, I've given you a big build up here, Miguel.
Michael,
don't let us down.
All right, so first, this is perfect case in point as to why you should formulate your character before going into the full question. I actually did choose you, Shane.
Yes, I wanted that so much.
And so you know, I was like, he is very eloquent. And then when you started saying that he was using, bigger words, he was being fancy, I was like, okay, all right, I can see. And then you dropped the bombshell of flat Earth, and I'm like, okay, well, if he can convince me that the Earth is flat, considering I'm trying to, in 30 years, I'll have a doctorate in physics, hopefully, if the world doesn't end by then. As in, if we don't fall off the Earth because it's flat, you've convinced me that it is flat. Considering how eloquent you are,
I have my moments.
Exactly, I would say go for it, because if you can convince me, someone that's done a 2-parter, probably never a 3-parter on flat Earth. Yeah, no, if you convince me, I'm sold. Let's go. Let's do it. I'll back you up. I'll be your hype man. As bad as I am at being a hype man.
The Earth was dragged to this point in space by a pair of spectral dragons. One named Zarathustra,
Okay.
the other Atlas.
Okay.
And we were led to believe all of these things by purported lies, but I know from my interactions with my time with the Illuminati that we are in fact living on a skateboard plane into heaven.
Just a half pipe to heaven.
It finally
there we
is
go.
all coming together. I
feel like if I was doing this with you and I was going on a show, it would purely be to advertise our show.
Like, the Earth is flat. By the way, check out our podcast.
Because we lie perpetually for a living, and in fact, I don't really believe this, but since I've convinced all of you this is true, you should come and check out our show, because we do this weekly.
Be the perfect pivot. Wow.
I think this is how we finally reach that glorious point of fame and notoriety you've so been searching for, Michael.
Right. We just dig really, really deeply into the flat Earth movement. And then once people think that we're all experts in the field, then we drop the bombshell on them.
We can't dig that deeply, bud. We'll go right through. That's not a good idea. It's a bad plan.
We dig deeply and greedily. We're going to awaken the Balrog, so...
Well,
deep and wide.
We're just going to hit that ice shelf that is holding everything up. We can't bore through that. If I learned nothing from Armageddon, then we're going to hit, our drill bits are all going to get burnt up, and we're going to be stuck, and we're not going to be able to plant that bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Shame.
Then we're gonna have to leave the dad there. He's gonna have to sacrifice himself. Damn, Bruce Willis. The dad.
The dad.
I don't want to close my eyes.
Oh God. I do want to stab things into my ears, though.
I want to fall asleep.
I do want to miss a thing, please.
That, what you just said, I want to miss it. Yes. Don't ever sing that again. I'm not a Van Halen person.
Do you know?
Yeah. Was it? Oh my goodness.
I'm going to give you 2 more guesses to who it actually was before I slap you.
Oh no.
Because it was not Van Halen.
Oh no. I can't.
I even know this
all hair bands sound the same to me.
Be very careful.
Oh no.
Come on, Michael.
This is the quintessential great American rock band. They have been compared as being the Rolling Stones of the United States.
The lead singer dresses like my grandma.
They are blues influenced rock music.
You are not
hair band.
Oh my God.
I'm really upset at you.
There's a reason why no one chose me as the smartest person, and this is one of those cases.
You're incredibly smart. It's just in an entirely different trajectory than our...
Michael.
Yeah, I am very specialized.
Yeah, you're
retired. Need a specialized truck to ferret me places. Ferry me places.
Or ferry you.
Whichever.
Yes. Gerbil you.
You're gonna say it, and I'm gonna slap myself because this is I'm blanking because I'm put on the spot.
I'm gonna give you 5 clues in order for you to get to where you need to.
Okay. All right. Give me it.
I love you because your deuces are wild.
Okay, that is I'm not familiar with that.
You could walk on down and talk to me about this.
Walk this way.
You could also walk this way if you were inclined.
I think I might have a
If you got here, you could experience some sweet emotion with me. And then perhaps we could all dream on.
Why? Why is it? I should know this. Dream
Get
on.
your wings, Michael.
I am genuinely upset at myself for not
It's all
knowing
done
this.
with mirrors. They're on
There's
a permanent
roller
vacation.
coaster.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a
band.
no. It recently closed. They shut it down because they're rebuilding something else with it. That's how upset I am. I know that little tidbit is the rock and roll roller coaster at the California Adventure Park.
There's the curse.
I don't even care. This is how upset I am. I know that, and I can't remember the name of the band, and I am so upset at myself. Just
Perhaps
pull the Band-Aid off.
How about you just pump yourself for a moment? Maybe.
Is Jump one of their songs too? No? Okay, see,
Jump is Van Halen.
Okay.
Michael.
See? That's the
Full
track
circle.
I'm on.
Okay, for those who are not already just pulling your eyeballs out of your skulls right now out of frustration, it is Aerosmith.
God. See?
And I don't know how to explain myself anymore. But okay, back to our
Walk
point.
This Way. I watched their music video where they had.
Yep, I don't need to know
people
why you didn't get it, Michael. We know. But back to our point, I think this is the way that we appropriately go out, proselytize, if you will, to try to get more listeners. You and I can have a perpetual flat earth debate on our podcast going forward every single week. You can, go for the con. I will go for pro. And you and I can just argue amongst ourselves as to whether or not we are presently living on a plane. Or living on a prayer.
For Bon Jovi.
Okay, he got one. Congratulations.
Yeah, see, it was my brain just shut off. Okay, like that's the only thing I can think of that explains why I didn't think of Aerosmith.
Man, you could have had 9 lives. I don't know what's happening.
So if you guys start debating like flat earth every week on our podcast, are we going to change the name of the podcast to Master Debaters?
I am actually certified as a master debater. I'm a cunning
tempting.
linguist.
Yeah.
Very tempting. Master Debater Podcast.
Master of Puppets. All right. I think we have sufficiently answered the question. Good old Chuck. And thank you, Michael, for saying I'm the smartest person you know. I know it's a lie, but
I'm pretty offended if we're being honest, Michael.
I mean,
well, you're a woman. You can't have thoughts.
Oh,
I didn't even know that you could think for yourself.
You know what? That's a really good point. I forgot. These things
exactly,
I've been carrying around, it's too heavy that I just forgot.
Listen, you are just here in order to, harvest seed and procreate. That's really all that we have use for.
I'm barefoot. I'm in a kitchen. It's a good time.
You are, in fact.
Barefoot
and I'm sorry, Courtney. I shouldn't have said that about you. You were planning on making me steak this week, so I should try to be your friend to curry favor. Okay, now I'm just trolling people not even here. And he's not even going to watch it, so I don't know what the point is of this. But all right. So I think, Courtney, I'm a noted and devoted simp. This has been documented, everybody knows. So don't at me.
Known.
I don't need to hear any of this nonsense.
Leave a comment if you feel triggered.
I'm slobberingly grateful for every woman who has ever taken a moment to look at me and not slap, hit, pinch, punch, or, kill me. Generally,
I was gonna say a lot of those things
that
could have been asked for. Yeah, like I received some of those things. And...
whips, whistles, chains, yo-yos, valentines, and diminutive statures. In any event, yes, I love the women that let me, and I thank you all for being here. As per usual, we sincerely appreciate your activity. And if you're having as much fun listening to this as we are recording it, Michael's got instructions for you.
Smash that like button, ring the bell, hit the, I already said the like button, hit subscribe. It's been a while since we did this. I'm slow. I'm sorry. You're right. Special. I'm specialized.
You're retired.
Yes, very much. I need to take a nap. I am very retired right now. Look at Courtney's face.
I'm crying.
It's so pained.
I think I'm going to start my next segment to replace Florida Man is going to be Aerosmith or not. Just start throwing song titles in. So this famous Aerosmith song, "Don't Stop Believing."
Wait a minute. I know that's clearly Scorpion.
Well, it would be scorpions. It's not a singular scorpion. There's multiples, but I appreciate the effort. Listen,
Subscribe.
I love Ted Nugent, and he's really fantabulous.
Ted Chicky Nuggies, as he's called nowadays.
Ted Nuggets wrote that glorious song, "Pour Some Sugar on Opie," and it's one of my favorites.
Pour some sugar on opium?
Well, you can do that too if you're inclined. But if you do, you'll clean it up.
Oh.
Okay. I think that is going to officially... But yes, please engage. Comment if you know more Aerosmith songs than Michael does. Comment if you can name the song by Van Halen that's other than Jump. Right now, in fact, you could do that.
Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. For the queens of that age.
The queen's dead, you insensitive prick.
Yeah, of that age.
She was retired.
Exactly.
Okay, we're done. We're slappy and this isn't getting anywhere. So remember, we have new episodes of our podcast on your preferred provider app. Go check it out this week. You should subscribe if you'd like to. And also, we have got a link tree in the show notes below that'll take you to all of our relevant socials. You can catch us there. And of course, Michael has plagued the internet with shorts, particularly on this glorious thing here. So you can find us on the tubes of you almost anywhere you look. It's the bigger heart of the family. But for... Disinformed After Dark this evening, I am Steven Tyler.
I'm gonna walk this way out of the conversation, and I am still and always will be a disappointment.
And I'm Eddie Van Halen.
I didn't want to take that one. I still am a disappointment.
Well, speaking of walking this way, you can run MDC over here right out of the building.
Right, that's who it was on the other side. Music video. Was it run? Anyway,
Dumb Michael Clark. Yes, it was.
Zippity zoop! I'm out of here.